how's it going? Welcome back to another The Boys video here. So this is going to be my review of the finale, and I'm going to talk about the season just sort of overall. I also will break down the post-credit scene as well. I mean, the post-credit scene was really, like, season 5 is going to be a really incredible season. It really is. Like, the setup right now is for this last and final season of The Boys to be really, like, the best season yet. So make sure to be a subscriber if you do want to get all my The Boys content. And also, I do have to warn you that this video will contain spoilers for the episode. So hope you guys are all aware of that. Now, I haven't been reviewing The Boys in the last like couple of weeks. I think after episode 4 or 5 or somewhere around there, I kind of stopped. And it was more because I just wasn't really feeling the episode too much. You know, like the episodes I think were all right. Like they were all right episodes, but I would say that, you know, this season definitely wasn't the best season. You know, there wasn't a lot really going on, and I still enjoyed the story a lot. It's just, it wasn't the most exciting, and it felt like there wasn't a lot to talk about. So I was sort of waiting for the finale. Like after episode 6, I was like, you know what, I'll just wait until the finale and then I'll talk about everything then. But from where we left off last time, Huey at this point suspects that there's something off with Starlight, because Starlight, as we know, is actually held captive somewhere else. And then we have this soup that can, I guess, turn into other people, basically, is there with Huey. And so Huey does suspect that something's off, but he doesn't completely know it yet. Jeffrey Dean Morgan, he's in this episode as well, and this might be his last appearance in the show. I hope not. I hope that he is there for season 5, because I think that would be really amazing. He really did do amazing. I think for the first couple of episodes, you know, he was with the CIA and all that. I was trying to figure out what his story was, and like, you know, is he an important character? Because he kept showing up here and there, and I was just trying to figure out where the story was going. Once it was revealed that he is sort of the devil on Butcher's shoulder, then I was like, okay. And I definitely was a little underwhelmed by the reveal, because Jeffrey Dean Morgan's character is not necessarily real. After that, I feel like that's when he actually shined as a character, and I really do like the fact that he is there. Like, I really love Jeffrey Dean Morgan as Negan, and this show really does prove why it was like perfect casting. It really was. Like, Negan, I feel like, is one of the best characters out there, and I think that's why a lot of fans want Negan to be Negan and not necessarily like the whole redemption version of the character, right? Because he's not as fun. And that's what's kind of exciting about Dead City, is that they're actually going back to that version of the character. Mallory also shows up in this episode. I thought it was kind of cool, because although she doesn't really see Jeffrey Dean Morgan or his character or whatever, right, they're still filming in the same scene, right? And the reason why that's really cool is because she plays Pamela Milton on The Walking Dead in the very last season, so it's kind of cool to have both of them together again on the show. Ryan does kill Mallory though in this episode, which I was definitely, I don't know if I was surprised by it, but I was shocked to see it, if that makes any sense. Like, I kept thinking it's a season 4 finale, we have one more season, like some of the bigger characters are going to die, and so I was expecting a moment like that to happen, especially as soon as they started to like keep Ryan there, right, and they weren't allowing him to leave. I felt like something was about to happen here, but still, seeing the scene, I was still completely shocked by that. And speaking of Ryan, you know, I don't know where he's gonna go this season. He did just find the truth out about Homelander, and, or I guess his father. He found out everything about him, and so, you know, that's gonna change his world. I have no idea where he went. I don't think he went back to Homelander necessarily, and I'm not sure where that's gonna go for season 5. Does he end up killing Homelander? Is there gonna be, you know, a Homelander versus Ryan scene in season 5? That's very hard to say, but Homelander, you know, he does get angry about the photo that he saw in Ryan's backpack and destroys the whole place. And I felt like that was really, again, I am just like waiting for that moment with Homelander where he just goes absolutely insane and wants to like destroy the entire world, basically. Like, I don't know if they'll get there at all, because it just kind of feels like he's being very limited in terms of his powers and abilities. Like, I don't know if it's like a visual effects thing and it's a budget thing, because they can't necessarily do a lot of stuff that they would do in like the MCU and all of that, right? But it does feel like it really does. Actually, the one scene I really liked was at the very, very end of the episode, and that was with Starlight, where she just like flew away from everybody. Like, it was the way that they actually filmed the scene and the way that it looked overall, where I was like, wow, that looks really high budget. Like, that looked really, really good. Butcher, you know, I noticed in this scene a lot of his gray hair was starting to show quite a bit, and he just looked like he was dying. Like, he looked really, really sick, and he was saying his goodbye to Huey and whatnot. Butcher's reaction actually to the whole Homelander outing Newman as a superhero was actually kind of hilarious. He's laughing about it because, I mean, it's just lots of chaos happening all the time, right? Homelander gives the 7 a list of people that need to be removed from Vought, and so, you know, they start to do that. Ashley's name does come up and she hears that, and so she runs away. She takes the compound V. It looks like she starts to like mutate or something like that, but that was the last that we saw of her. So I'm not sure where they're going with that. Like after this episode, I had a lot of questions because they really left a lot of the characters just sort of in random places. Like the Deep was just out there looking for people within Vought, and that's just sort of how that ended. But the last thing we saw was that he was looking for Ashley. So I'm just like, is Ashley dead? I don't know. I'm going to say probably not, because we never actually saw her die. We never saw what happened, you know, to that story there of them trying to find Ashley. So I feel like in the season 5 premiere, they're going to find her right away, and then we'll get a reveal of, you know, did she die or not. She'll probably survive, I'm guessing. Annie does break herself free, and just as Huey is starting to suspect, you know, things going on with Annie, or I guess like the imposter Annie, Huey does tell MM about Annie. This big fight breaks out, and then Annie eventually shows up and saves the day. The Annie versus Annie stuff was really incredible. That was really cool, and I think that was the one thing about this episode that we really saw from her is that she's struggling a lot, and she is pushing through it all, though. Like, that's the amazing thing about it, is that she is actually pushing through all of the stuff that she's going through. But I will say, there was a reaction that I found kind of frustrating. I mean, I do get it, I guess, in a sense, but it's after all of it, when Huey goes to talk with Annie, and then Annie finds out about, you know, all the stuff that Huey did with the imposter Annie and whatnot, and it was just kind of frustrating because Annie was just like so mad about it, and I was just like, Huey had no idea that any of that happened. Like, he had no idea. The second that he like realized that this was happening, you know, then that's when he stopped all of that and immediately told MM and tried to actually deal with that whole situation, right? So like, I don't like her reaction there. I mean, I know by the end of the episode though, like things did change, obviously. It seems like she was just more stressed out from everything that she was dealing with, that by the time that actually came up and she had to talk with Huey about it, she was just more upset about the whole thing there. And so obviously that's why by the end of the episode, they're both on good terms. But yeah, just at first I was kind of like, wait, really? Are you actually getting mad about this right now? But the boys do discuss keeping Newman alive, because Newman now, you know, she wants to give up that type of life that she has. Like, she doesn't want to keep this going, because she realizes that this is always going to be a thing. Like, Homelander is always going to want this or that, and there's going to be this constant fight, and she doesn't want this. Like, she wants to live a peaceful life with her daughter, and so she reaches out to the boys, or specifically Huey, you know, to make that happen. To, you know, she'll help them get rid of Vought and Homelander if they can help her, you know, I guess live that peaceful life and whatnot. And they really do discuss it, and they're just like, you know what, I think we will do that. We can help her out. Frenchie and Kumiko seem to be a thing now as well. She actually spoke at the very end, which was really cool. Like, that was a really crazy scene, because her first word really was no, that we heard, right? And she was reacting to the fact that Frenchie was taken away. And I can't wait to see where this is going to go for season 5. But as this is all happening, Ryan does learn the truth about his father, and then Butcher at this point, you know, Jeffrey Dean Morgan is there, or I guess his character, Kessler, is there, and he just looks at Butcher, and he's just like, you know what to do here, right? And Butcher just like, he knows what to do. And so he shows up and sees the boys, and yeah, he looks so much healthier, and he just looks way stronger now. And he fights Newman and actually kills her. I was not expecting that. I don't know if Butcher is like fully healed now. Like, I'm actually kind of curious about that, because it seemed like he was dying basically like just beforehand. So I don't know if now he's in a place where maybe his body is starting to adapt a lot more to the powers and whatnot. So maybe that's why he looks so much healthier in the finale. Sage shows up though. She actually goes and sees Homelander, and yeah, Homelander is now basically the leader of the entire country. Like, not necessarily, he's not like the leader, but obviously everyone reports to him. So I mean, he's basically the leader, and there will be superheroes now in every single place in the entire United States. And so, you know, superheroes have taken over everything entirely. You know, there's a lot of mixed reaction from a lot of people, but this is sort of, you know, like, we've been waiting for this moment for a while, that like this was supposed to be something that is going to change a lot, right? And so I imagine in season 5 it's going to be one of the first things that we deal with for the first however long, is we're going to see how the entirety of the United States has changed a lot, and exactly how Homelander rules everything. And I do hope that we do. I mean, actually, in the post-credits scene, it seems to tease a lot there, but yeah, I don't know where this is going here for season 5, but there's like so many paths that they can take here, just in terms of ending Homelander's story, ending all of it here, that it's really exciting. But again, as all of this is playing here, and then we hear, I believe that's actually Nirvana that was playing, the boys are all getting caught and whatnot, except Starlight. She flies away. Butcher is also out there as well. And that's how the entire season ends, is just on that sort of, you know, that note of Homelander won, right? And then we got the post-credit scene where we see Soldier Boy come back, and I mean, obviously he's just finding that out for the first time now, and I wasn't expecting him to come back. Like, I really wasn't. I mean, I guess I was at some point. I just wasn't thinking about it once they announced that the season 5 was going to be the last season. I thought maybe he would show up again at some point in the future, like season 6, 7, 8, but they're ending with season 5 now, so it makes sense that he would come back for that last season, right? So a lot of people really like Soldier Boy. He's a really amazing character, and so it's going to be really crazy here for season 5. And again, season 5, I mean, it's going to have a lot of people watching, obviously, and the only criticisms I have so far is that it doesn't necessarily feel like everything is like the end of the world. Like, it's sort of hard to see, and I feel like you're starting to see a little bit of the budget for the show, right? Like, the show does feel very low budget at times, which is, I mean, maybe it's because it is, like, it doesn't, you know, I don't know what the budget is for the show, but it does not feel like Fallout, so I hope that in season 5 we do see Homelander just being more powerful and just, you know, who he could actually be, because it feels like he's being very limited in all the scenes that he's ever in, and a lot of the, you know, scenes where he's sort of freaking out and whatnot, it's a lot of just like the acting in the scene, and it's not necessarily a lot of the fighting and whatnot. But yeah, I would say I really enjoyed this episode. This is my favorite finale in quite some time, though I would say as a season overall, I did prefer previous seasons, but I think it was all set up for season 5. That was sort of the big reason why I waited to like review the entirety of the season here and just get my thoughts at the very end, was because it really felt like all of this was set up for season 5 anyways. So yeah, I really enjoyed this season though. You know, it was a lot of fun watching the boys, and I can't wait for season 5, which it looks like season 5 is going to be coming out in 2026. So we're probably going to have to wait 2 more years for this final season, which is definitely really unfortunate. That's so far away, but it is what it is. More time to live in this story and whatnot, right? So yeah, post all your thoughts down below if you've watched the finale. Hope you guys all enjoyed the video, and I'll see you guys in the next one.